Hello. Welcome back. Some things have changed. Behind me, you may be able to see that I got some new shelves for my action figures. I have an almost empty shelf for the first time in many years. The one figure on this shelf is Rey from the new Star Wars. My wife broke her arm in January, and she has been unable to work until this month. Her injury is healing pretty well. She goes to physical therapy twice a week, and she has finally been able to return to work, albeit on limited duty. So, I now have the ability to film videos regularly, once again. I thank you for your patience. So today, I don't have anything prepared. I'm not reading anything. I'm improvising. And I'm not totally comfortable doing that. So, I hope this works. Instead of reading something, I thought today I would tell you a little story. And this is the story of what happened when I tried to take daily walks in my neighborhood. I am overweight. In fact, all the men on my father's side of the family are obese in the same way, with the exception of my grandfather, who was put on a special diet after he had a heart attack. Heart issues run in my family, and I have a minor heart issue myself. So, I can't do a lot of strenuous exercises. 2 minutes of cardio can wipe me out all day. So a few years ago, I decided that I would try walking every day in my neighborhood. I don't live in a neighborhood that has sidewalks. We do have sidewalks, but they're very short and they're incomplete. So I decided that I would walk in the neighborhoods across the street. These little subdivisions. So I started doing just that. Originally, I would just wear jeans and a t-shirt, and I would listen to my headphones while I was walking. But that got to be too hot, because in addition to being overweight, I'm also a very sweaty person. And I know that's oh so attractive. I started wearing exercise clothes, and I got a new pair of headphones that I could wear while I was sweating, and started trying to walk, taking 2 steps every second. So, at first, I would count my steps in my head. You may remember that I have an autism spectrum disorder. As an autistic person, and as my autism manifests in me, I like rhythms and routines. I would get up, I would eat my breakfast, I would brush my teeth, and I would go for a walk. And when I returned, I would shower. And while I was walking, I would look at the same things. I would take the same amount of steps every time. I would take the same route over and over. Some people would find that boring, but I don't. In fact, in all honesty, I like being bored. So, something started to change on my walks. Something that I could not control. People started noticing me. Somebody waved from their car. Someone I didn't recognize. I told my wife, and she said that that person had probably seen me walking before. That hadn't occurred to me, but of course, it made perfect sense. Because they had waved, I started thinking about who else would wave, and eventually, someone else did. But they weren't in a car this time. They were on their porch. And then other people started waving, acknowledging me. And I found myself trying to anticipate waving every time I passed these people's homes. This was very stressful. I don't like interacting with people to any degree. I don't know why it didn't occur to me that people who lived in the neighborhoods where I was walking would take notice. Perhaps because I don't tend to notice people. At the very least, even if I do notice someone, I will almost never acknowledge them unless I have to walk right by them or look at them, or unless they address me. And these individuals were waving every time I passed, so I had to wave at them. And then I became preoccupied with waving. And then they started talking to me. One person would call to me from their porch and would say obvious things like, "You're walking today." Some people would walk up to me and walk with me and try and have a conversation. One guy started hitting on me every time he saw me. And I don't mind, but I wasn't there to have any conversations. I'm wearing exercise clothes. I'm walking at a fairly brisk pace. I have headphones on, obvious headphones. And yet, people felt the need to stop and speak to me. Well, this became too much to bear. So I changed my route. Now, there are 3 neighborhoods right next to each other across the street from where I live. And I was only walking in 2 of them. I would walk down to the end of the street, turn at the cul-de-sac, and come up another street, because all three neighborhoods shared the same cul-de-sac. So I would go down Street 1 and walk up Street 2, and I would do that a number of times. But eventually, I decided to walk down Street 2 and up Street 3 to avoid someone on Street 1 who would try and talk to me. But then people on Street 2 started talking to me. And eventually, people on Street 3 started talking to me as well. So, I was very unhappy about this turn of events. I don't know how to tell people, I don't want to talk to you right now. No offense is intended, but I'm trying to exercise. I'm not strolling. I'm taking 2 steps a second. I'm listening to music. I'm not paying attention to the people around me. But I don't know how to say that. I probably should have, but I would have had to say it to a number of different people. So I decided to avoid that neighborhood, or those 3 neighborhoods, altogether. And I started walking on a little track at a school on the other side of Street 3, right beside the little set of 3 neighborhoods was a school, an elementary school, and it had a track beside it. And I started walking on that track, and for the most part, no one bothered me. Not even the people who lived on Street 3, who could see that I was walking in a different place now. Thank goodness. Occasionally I would see someone walking on the same track that I was walking on, but they didn't wave or greet me. They left me alone, and I did the same for them. So for a few months during the winter, I walked on this track. And then, one day while I was walking, I saw someone I knew. It was a person that I had worked with before. I used to work at a department store, and I worked up front, dealing with people who had complaints. I was a cashier, and I was a service manager, and I was in charge of returns as well. Well, this individual worked in a different department, but sometimes we would see each other, and for whatever reason, whenever he saw me, he wanted to talk to me. I don't know what it is that makes strangers want to talk to each other, but whatever it is, I don't have it. So I was glad when I came to work and I didn't have to see this individual. But this was months. In fact, it may even have been years before I started walking on that little track. And now, here the man was, walking his dog on the track. And of course, he stopped me, and he wanted to have a conversation. I did not want to have a conversation. I was walking. Pardon me. I was walking. I was exercising. I was counting my steps and keeping to a timetable. If there's a moral to this story, and this story is not over yet, but if there's a moral to it, it's not everyone wants to be approached. I know you might think that it's friendly. You're acknowledging them. You're saying, I see you and I mean no harm. You may think you're being polite, but the polite thing to do is actually to leave strangers alone. So, after I saw this man and his dog, and he tried to have a conversation with me, I thought I might have to start walking somewhere else again. If I see him next time, if he starts coming to the track regularly to try and intercept me, I'm going to have to move and walk somewhere else. And he did. So I had to stop walking on the little track. But I didn't really have anywhere else to go without walking a very long way. So I decided to start walking a very long way. Near me is a park. And it was a good walk from my house to get to that park. But it's a walking park. And I could walk there and people wouldn't stop me. Because the only reason they're there is to walk themselves. So I started walking from my house all the way up to the park, which was a mile. Then I would walk around the whole park on the walking trail, which was another mile. And I would come back to my house, and that was another mile. So I was walking 3 miles a day. And eventually, it got tiring. And that might make me seem lazy. But, as I said, I have a mild heart condition. And I get tired easily. And I don't have the kind of heart that you can train very well. Obviously, moving around more will make it easier to move around, but there is definitely a level at which I have to stop, and I can't go beyond it, or I will feel like shit all day, and probably all day the next day too. So I had to stop walking 3 miles a day. I couldn't do it anymore. And because I didn't have anywhere else to go, I stopped walking daily. And I decided to exercise in my home, to do some cardio, and to start slow. I found some videos on YouTube, and I tried to exercise, but I hurt my back trying to do a modified jumping jack. So I had to stop doing that. And I decided instead, because I was determined to move around and not to be sedentary, I decided to do Qigong. And I still do Qigong every day. It feels great. It's probably not going to help me lose any weight, but I am moving around 10 minutes a day. And I am breathing evenly. and I am in a meditative mindset. I meditate every day as well, 20 minutes twice a day. And that leads us to the most recent incident. I started doing Qigong outside in my side yard because it's very pretty and it's been getting warm. This happened a few weeks ago. There are actually two incidents. I was doing Qigong. Now, you may notice this strange garment that I have on. This is actually a caftan. It goes down to my ankles. I spend a lot of time wearing robes and caftans and yukatas and clothing that probably looks strange to the people that live in my neighborhood. I don't care that it looks strange. I like it, and it's comfortable. But I was in the side yard. I was finishing my Qigong, which involves moving my arms very slowly and breathing very deliberately. And a truck drove by, and they're moving very slowly. And I thought, I wonder if they're looking at me, because I probably look very unusual. The truck went down to the end of a cul-de-sac and turned around and came back, moving much more slowly this time. And I noticed people were leaning out of its windows, pointing their phones at me, taking video. Well, I thought that was weird, but I didn't care. I'm not doing anything ridiculous. I'm wearing unusual clothes. I'm moving my body in an unusual way. And I understand. If that makes people laugh, then I've made them happy, even if it's at my own expense. I have an unlimited well of happiness to give other people. So there really is no expense, even if someone is making fun of me. If they make fun of me, at least they're having fun. And it's fine. I've been made fun of before. I've been laughed at before. I can handle it now. Well, a week later, maybe 2 weeks, I had finished my Qigong and I was meditating. And two men approached me. And they asked me what I was doing. Now, I'm sitting cross-legged on a mat with my eyes closed. And they walk up to me and start talking to me. So, they asked me what I was doing, and I told them I was meditating. And they asked if they could meditate with me. There were two men. One of them I recognized, and the other I didn't. Two young men. And the young man that I recognized seemed to be, he was laughing a lot. But the other young man actually seemed genuinely interested in what was happening. And he asked me if he could live stream the meditation. So I told them, well, I have about 5 minutes left, but if you want to join me, we can do that. I don't mind if you live stream. So they joined me. And the man I recognized talked a lot while we were meditating, but the other man was actually quiet and genuinely seemed to be trying to meditate. I don't know why he wanted to live stream it, or who watched, or on what platform. It could be that somewhere out there is a video of me and two other guys meditating, and I wonder what people think about it and what the title of the video is. I got the feeling that the two young men might have been making fun of me a little bit, but at least one of them really did seem interested. And when we were done and he had turned off the live stream, he asked me why I was meditating. And I told him that I could tell him my purpose, which was to increase peace and compassion and patience, and that meditation isn't just sitting with your eyes closed, it's a way of life. It's a way of engaging with your life, a way of experiencing the world. And he told me that he wanted to be a rapper, and he wanted to know if I thought that was good. And I said I thought that it was noble that he wanted to be an artist. He had an aspiration, he had things to say. He liked music. Yes, it was good. It wasn't my place to judge what he wanted to do with his life. So I tried to be positive and to share something with him, even though I thought he and his friend might have been making fun of me a little bit. But after that experience, I decided that I'm not going to do Qigong or meditate outside anymore. Because even though I feel like that experience was mostly positive, I just want strangers to leave me alone. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to ask. I don't think that's irrational. So now, every day I do Qigong and I meditate in my living room. And it's great. All right, I'm going to stop there. Thank you, as always, for watching, listening, and thank you for being patient while my circumstances were uncertain. I will see you in the next video.